news that happened earlier today, and that's what we're getting through right now. At least, some 14 construction workers have been rescued in critical condition following the collapse of a building at the premises of the Architectural Engineering Group at Roman Ridge here in Accra earlier today. And that's information that we got, and one that we're going to get some quick updates on right now, because from what we gathered earlier, 14 workers who sustained injuries after a story building under construction collapsed on them at Roman Ridge are receiving treatment at the 37 military and the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. We're going to show you of this collapsed building. Now, we gather that no fatalities, will confirm that right now, but as of the time this incident happened, no fatalities were recorded earlier today. Reports indicate that the structure caved in at around 1 p.m. earlier today, while workers were actively casting concrete for the first floor of the apartment building. Now, several workers were trapped under the debris, sustaining various degrees of injury. Now, this enclave in this Roman Ridge area, we have quite a number of apartments springing up in this area or under construction in this area. Now, a swift response from what we gather and deployment of rescue personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service led to the successful rescue of all trapped construction workers as a result of this. Now, all 14 workers, some in critical condition, we understand, were rushed to the 37 military and the Ridge Hospital for medical attention. The structure is located on a plot between an uncompleted 10-story building and the Ghana Institution of Engineering at Roman Ridge. Now, an eyewitness who saw this collapse spoke to my colleague Stanley Bleu earlier today after this incident happened. Take a look.
We heard a loud, brief sound from the victims trapped beneath the rubble, calling for help. But before we could react, another section of the building collapsed.
There's been a number of these incidents of collapse of buildings, and DO2 Desmond Aka is the National Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana National Fire Service. He is joining us on Zoom right now for a conversation on this. Just get a latest update on this rather unfortunate incident that happened earlier today. DO2 Desmond Aka, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First off, let's establish this. At what time exactly did you get this distress call about this collapse of building? And when you got there, how many people did you confirm that were trapped under the debris?
Well, so let me say a very good evening to your cherished viewers. Well, so we had a distress call at 12:18 this afternoon. So hurriedly, we had to dispatch the rescue team from National Headquarters to respond to the emergency. So when they got there, 12 of the injured had already been taken to the hospital. So we met 2 who were critically injured and had to assist with the extrication and then evacuation to the Ridge Hospital. Apparently, all 14 were male, and we had to cordon off the place and declare the place as a security zone, just to ensure that no intruders get into the affected area and then probably get injured in the process. And then also, we've also directed the site manager to hold on with any further construction works until such a time that would be able to conclude our investigation with other relevant stakeholders within the built environment space. News getting in this evening from the affected premises or the company suggests that some of the workers who were injured would be discharged I think their condition is quite stable, and then they will be discharged this evening. Those whose condition remains critical are also out of danger now, and they are responding well to treatment. So we are hoping and praying that they would recover soon. But we would still want the investigation team to finish with their investigation so that whatever led to this particular unfortunate incident will be made public to your cherished viewers and then the general public as a whole.
Great. I understand that you just got back from the crash site a few minutes ago, but let's establish this, that you say that these persons, and a number of them sustained various degrees of injury. What's the extent of injury that we're talking about here? Some of them you say are serious. If you could just give us some detail.
Also, they suffered some fractures and some bruises on their upper and lower limbs, and therefore they had to be seriously being taken care of. So when we got to the hospital, they had to really put them under intensive care. And we are understanding that they are out of danger. The bleeding and has been stopped. The fracture too have been stabilized, and therefore there is no cause for alarm. I mean, very soon they would also recover fully.
I see. And talk about the investigations that are underway. Any preliminary investigation underway and a possible establishment of the cause of this collapse by the preliminary information or investigation that you've conducted in the last 5, 6 hours?
We don't want to preempt anything. We would want to leave it for the investigative team to conclude their reports. But according to eyewitnesses, this affected story was a 3-story building, and they were trying to cast some concrete, I think, in one of the floors, which led to this unfortunate collapse. But we do not want to preempt anything, but to leave it in the hands of the investigative team, who there are a lot of experts in there who would help us to really ascertain what led to this. And if it happens that people were negligent in exercising their mandates, why not? If there are sanctions, we would welcome it.
But are you able to indeed confirm with certainty that all persons in this building that collapsed have been accounted for as of now? Because we earlier had 14, but that to say they were the only persons in there after you responded to this call and your investigations you've done under the debris so far?
Yes. There were rumors that some other people were even trapped under the rubble, but upon further search and search under the rubbles, it came out that nobody was trapped there, and therefore all persons who were working at the premises have all been accounted for, and we can confirm confidently that it was only 14 that were affected, and as at now, all of them are out of danger, and even some are even billed to be discharged this evening.
Well, some good news and some relief there. But maybe quickly before I let you go, there's been that talk or the suspicion of structural integrity. One of the eyewitnesses that we spoke to had indicated that at some point when they were putting up the building, some persons came around and started asking questions. Have you spoken to some of the eyewitnesses about this suspicion that they had, and some persons who had come there earlier to inspect this structure that was being built, which has collapsed now?
Structure is under construction, and therefore maybe from the hindsight, it will be very difficult for you to pinpoint any defects. And like ourselves already mentioned, we would want to leave it to the investigative team, which has a lot of experts there. They may have the technical eye to be able to go into into the...
Right. Thank you so much. DO2 Desmond Aka is the Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana National Fire Service. Thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. It's one that we'll keep an eye on. We'll